Record. Welcome, everyone. My name is Dr. Deidre Mason. I am the Director of Nutrimetrics and Clinical Education, and I am joined here by my good friend, Dr. Mark Lange. Dr. Lange, tell us what you do here at Market America.
I do a little bit of everything. My official title is Senior Director of Quality Control and Regulatory Standards. And what I do is oversee quality control for all of the markets, all the international markets, as well as the domestic, oversee the manufacturing operations at our various vendors, and make sure that our products are in compliance with local and international regulations and standards.
It's perfect because Dr. Lange and I work together, both on the formulation side as well as the quality side. And what really makes me very proud to be a part of the company and working with Dr. Lange is the fact that we have a purity of process. We are looking for the very best of ingredients to share with you and your customers. And one of the ways that we do that and help you live life vibrantly is through a unique delivery system called Isotonix. I want to share with you a little bit about what we do, and I've asked Dr. Lange to share this time with me so that he can also explain the benefits of the Isotonic delivery system to you. Now, I think Dr. Lange and I would agree on this, that when we look at health, isn't it funny how we can be looking at the exact same thing, two people, and yet they see something so different. Some people will adhere to a very different philosophy of eating, supplementation, and lifestyle, but we share a common goal, and that goal is to live life vibrantly, to live with fantastic energy into later decades of life. Today, Dr. Lange and I would like to talk to you about ways that we believe you can do that through healthy habits as well as healthy supplementation. But we need to make sure that we understand it's about a healthy lifestyle and healthy habits. Why do I bring that up? Because today, so many people are looking to biohack their health. They're looking for longevity into their 7th, 8th, and 9th decade of life by biohacking their health. They're looking to get by on less sleep and do more. They're trying to find ways to whittle their middle, but eat whatever they want. And that's not the way physiology works. In fact, most of your health will be built off of 60% of your healthy habits, like your sleep habits, your eating habits. Choose your food based on color. And you want to make sure that you're choosing to eat foods in their natural state, which is why it's so powerful to know that in the isotonic delivery, we copy nature. When you pay attention to moving naturally and eating naturally and making sure that your first line of defense for longevity is a good night's sleep, everything else falls into place. You have the opportunity to create a healthy environment when it comes to immunity and inflammation. These types of steps help you lose weight or keep weight off and maintain energy through later decades of life. It can even help you with sexual function. Many of the things that we contribute to age and accept that they will decline with age does not need to be the story that you write, especially if you're willing to supplement to your longevity and your energy. That means we have to make sure that we pay attention to diet, intentional movement, and proper supplementation. All of this helps us establish healthy aging, healthy metabolism, and ultimately longevity. Now, I've looked at some products that Dr. Lange and I are very familiar with that we want to share with you. It's this concept of eating and supplementing through the rainbow. I often say to patients, if you eat a rainbow of colors, why would you not be supplementing in the exact same way? Why would you not be adding to your health with a multivitamin, a multimineral, a robust and comprehensive antioxidant? Why would we not be choosing your supplements based on color? Most individuals get the most energy, the most health benefits, and ultimately the most satisfaction when they supplement this way in a comprehensive way. I often call it my non-negotiable 3, making sure that you're getting a multivitamin, multimineral, an omega-3 fatty acid, and a robust or comprehensive antioxidant. Today, Dr. Lange and I are going to talk to you a little bit about how you can do this by learning about the Isotonic family. So whether you are above the age of 50 and want a specific multivitamin for you, you're looking for an activated B complex for better energy and better mental emotional well-being. Maybe you are looking for something with quick results, and that means you want to look for digestive enzymes. Perhaps your practitioner has let you know that it's time to get started with good bone mineral density supplementation like an isotonic calcium or maybe magnesium. And there's that comprehensive antioxidant I talked about, OPC3. It doesn't matter where you start as long as you get started. And today we want to talk about doing it through the Isotonic delivery system. Dr. Lange and I want to share with you how we believe Isotonics is the most advanced formula that will offer you superior results because we offer a product with superior ingredients and we give it in the Isotonic delivery. Dr. Lange, share with us a little bit about Isotonics.
Well, isotonics, the foundation of isotonics is basically that what we're trying to do here is create a powder, a very specialized formulation of a powder. When mixed with the correct amount of water, the resulting solution will very closely match body fluids. And what that does is maximize the absorption of the nutrients that are in that solution. So the body is mostly water. And therefore, doesn't it make sense to try to match your delivery system to the body's natural chemistry? We do that through Isotonics delivery. And if we can maybe look at some slides about, if can we look at the next slide? Yeah. So what we're doing here is working with a natural body chemistry. And we design the formulation using things like sugars, basically, to create an isotonic, with a C on the end, isotonic solution. And so when that happens, we are actually controlling the rate at which the nutrient solution moves from the stomach into the upper portion of the digestive tract, where many of the nutrients are absorbed.
I want to talk about that because I think it's really important for individuals to know that when a product is rendered in isotonic, right, similar to self, as we'll often say, not only is that a natural way to deliver nutrients, we're copying nature or the body's natural gastric technique or system for moving individual ingredients from the stomach into the small intestine. But because of the isotonic delivery, these powders that Dr. Lange is discussing are also not exposed to stomach acid for a prolonged period of time. Those carbohydrates he's talking about also control for how efficiently these solutions leave the stomach and move into the small intestine. And it allows the product to stay concentrated for maximum absorption. One of the things that I love about the Isotonic delivery is that it's also a product with no fillers and binders. What we do know about how nutrients leave the stomach is based on that carbohydrate load. Dr. Lange, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, well, actually, this has been studied for at least 100 years, how the stomach empties itself. And there's been many studies. In fact, you come to my office, I'm happy to show you a stack of research papers, which is about this high, where they've done all kinds of studies, mostly on undergraduate and graduate students in various universities. And they've done some rather horrific experiments with them where they've made up different solutions of different acidity, different carbohydrate, or another way of putting it is sugar content, different protein content, different volumes. And what they found out that really controls the emptying of the stomach is the carbohydrate content, or another way of putting it is the amount of sugar in the solution. And in Isotonix delivery, we use two sugars primarily, fructose and glucose, to control that gastric emptying. So you may be saying, well, what's so special about that? I mean, why can't I just take a vitamin pill, a compressed tablet, and take it with a glass of water? Well, there is a major difference. When you simply drink a glass of water, your stomach will dump. Your stomach, it will dump its contents. The stomach will just immediately empty all of that water into your small intestine. However, if you put sugar into the water, it controls how, it actually slows down the rate at which the stomach is emptying itself. Now, the key point here is that you want to just gradually, slowly through squirts, empty the stomach over time so that you don't saturate the absorption sites in your small intestine with these nutrients, because your body can only absorb nutrients at a certain rate. And because there's channels or absorption sites in your intestinal tract that the nutrients can pass through only at a certain rate. And if you exceed that, what's going to happen is those nutrients are just going to just pass on by the absorption sites and be excreted in your waste. And you'd be throwing away your money.
Yeah, that's one thing that I love that you say. Dr. Lange often says vitamins are not like people. They don't wait in line. And so we want to make sure that the delivery system is appropriate to the mechanism of absorption or utilization of these nutrients. In the time it takes most pills and capsules to disintegrate in your stomach, they've been exposed to stomach acid for an appreciable amount of time. Isotonics, because of the carbohydrates, the fructose and the glucose that are in the product, can control for that gastric emptying, allowing them to leave efficiently, but also not so quickly that they would overwhelm those absorption sites or the channels that Dr. Lange had discussed. Now, I think it's appropriate or important for us to also talk about the amount of fructose and glucose that we're talking about. That most isotonics have 2 grams of this high quality carbohydrate. We're not talking about sugar beverages. We're not talking about the type of sugars that we would otherwise avoid in supplementation or in sugary beverages. That the carbohydrates are necessary for that gastric emptying, for that content leaving the stomach in an efficient way, but we haven't overdone it because we also can appreciate that we only need to use what is necessary to render the product isotonic, so that sensory cells at the base of the stomach recognize the solution as self and allow it to pass for that maximum absorption, the way Dr. Lange discussed.
Yeah, and just to add is that there are some isotonic products that have virtually no sugar added to them, if that is something that is a concern. Like the first one that pops into my head is Isotonix Calcium Plus.
Sure.
And the reason you don't have to add sugar to that one is because the calcium salts themselves help to make the solution isotonic with the body. So as this slide says, the bottom line here, with all this research that's been done over the last 100 years, it is the sugar content that most strongly influences the rate of gastric emptying. And there's other ingredients. There are other ingredients here. You have to realize that there's a lot of complexity and artistry in making an isotonic product. Every ingredient has multiple functions, as you can see in this chart. They have at least 2 different functions with every ingredient. So, for instance, if you take malic acid is a component of the buffering system that Dr. Mason was talking about. And also malic acid lends a certain tartness to the taste of the solution. And the malic acid will react with the base, which is potassium bicarbonate, in the product to create these little bubbles. So when you add the water to the isotonic powder, you see bubbles, you see effervescence. And what that effervescence does is help break up the powder so it dissolves more efficiently, but also it will actually helps with the absorption of the nutrients. Your entire GI tract is covered in a thick layer of mucus, and those carbon dioxide bubbles help to break down the mucus layer temporarily so that the nutrients can get to the absorption sites more efficiently. So, you know, this is what makes Isotonic so great. This is why other companies cannot duplicate what we have. We are very unique in this delivery system on the marketplace because it takes a lot of chemistry, a lot of just expertise and artistry to be able to create an isotonic solution. And it takes from start to finish in terms of R&D, usually it takes about 3 months to bring a new isotonic product to the marketplace where you can actually introduce it and start producing it.
I really love that you brought up the artistry of it, that this is not simply a bag of base ingredients that we mix active ingredients too, but that in fact, each one of the isotonics is unique in its formulation. While there is malic acid, fructose, glucose, the potassium bicarb, etc., as a part of each one of the products, they are in varying amounts to ensure isotonicity of each one of the formulations. And that's a powerful place to be, because this isn't just about novelty. While it is a novel delivery system, while it is something very unique to us, it is not a gimmick or a novelty. It is based on the isotonicity of each one of those active ingredients, and an assurance, and that's why it's so powerful to have Dr. Lange, is an assurance that each one of those products, even when pressure is applied. For example, Dr. Lange will use things like acidic solutions to test the buffering capabilities of each one of the isotonics to ensure that it always stays in that proper range so that delivery is exactly the way we describe it. And that's exactly why we believe that we have one of the better delivery systems on the market. Not only do we use clinically evidenced ingredients like asteril astaxanthin, pycnogenol, French maritime pine bark, Floraglow, lutein, or looking at other specialized iron ingredients like sun active iron. These are all things that we really hang our hat on, not just a better delivery system, a product without fillers and binders, but also clinically evidenced ingredients, all in a formulation that allows you to mix them together, customizing a program or a supplement regimen for you, but also doing it with no soy, no dairy, no gluten, no soy protein. We have vegetarian and vegan options, no yeast, artificial colors or flavors. We really do pay attention to what the consumer is looking for, whether you are in your later decades of life, as I talk about, or you're looking for a comprehensive solution for your children. Isotonics has an answer for you. Dr. Lange, do you have any parting words?
Parting? We're just getting going here. But I would like you to back up 2 slides. We skipped over a slide to get to the ingredients. Yeah, I think this is a fun slide.
Heavy finger.
Yeah, is that, you know, this really nails it or brings it home why Isotonix delivery is a superior delivery system over pills. And here we have an X-ray, and you can see in the digestive tract, who knows, maybe a couple of days worth of pills just floating on through. They never even broke up. That's because they took the pill with a glass of water. And also, most likely these pills, or definitely these pills, were not manufactured properly. They were manufactured to be too hard, and they weren't tested properly during release, and they didn't break apart. And therefore, the consumer, whatever they're taking, they're completely wasting their money instead of using isotonics, and I go back to our old tagline we used many years ago, drink your vitamins. And
Yeah.
there's definitely advantages to doing so.
I agree with that. So you brought up something that's important that I wanted to talk about. As we move back, you had mentioned that many products, tablet forms are compressed, hard tablets that do not break up in many people's systems. And so they just don't get the benefits of the nutrients. You can have very good raw ingredients, but if you don't gain access to them because of the fillers, binders, excipients that are found in many products, you may not get all of the benefits, which brings up an important question. I often will have people say, hold your horses, hold your horses. If isotonics is so fantastic, why is not everything rendered isotonic? And the answer is very simple. Not everything can be rendered isotonic, and not everything should be rendered isotonic. Isotonic delivery, as Dr. Lange had mentioned, delivers nutrients to the upper part of the small intestine, to the first part of the small intestine. But there are many nutrients, probiotics being a great example, that much of their benefit or function in the body is in the large intestine. And for that reason, we want to make sure that they make it to the large intestine. And so isotonics would not pair with the function of that nutrient. And so we make sure, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry to interrupt, but just to say that, to add on that a lot of ingredients just are not compatible with isotonics delivery. And the most basic example of that would be like something like fish oil, omega-3,
right?
Which oil and water don't mix. Another example is there are a lot of botanicals that have very strong some amino acids to very strong odors or very objectionable tastes that cannot be easily masked. You really want to put those in a tablet form. And something I wanted to add is that Market America does have quite a large scope of products that are in tablet forms, but I want to assure everybody that they undergo proper testing at, after manufacturing to make sure that they break apart. We follow the United States Pharmacopoeia, the USP guidelines on disintegration of tablets. So these tablets have to dissolve. It depends on the formulation. It might be within 15 minutes. It might be within 20 minutes, but every batch is tested to make sure that they do break up in the stomach and or intestinal tract, and you don't have what is seen in that X-ray we showed you.
Yeah, and that's a powerful place to be, is to not just know that you have the option of putting something in an isotonic formula, but also having the wisdom to look at a formulation and say, this would not be best delivered in an isotonic. So let's make sure that we focus not just on those quality ingredients, but also in the best of delivery. And if it's better to deliver soft gels with a soft gelatin, if it's better to deliver a mix of water-soluble antioxidants and a fat-soluble antioxidant in a multi-phase release capsule, as we do in Thiaminol, or that we focus on sustained release of probiotics with a BioTrack technology, or focus on making sure that some of those objectionable odors or tastes can be masked or benefited by using a liposomal or a phytosomal technology. So what we do very well with Market America is formulate products with better delivery systems, whether it's the isotonic delivery system, a sustained release technology, phytosomal, liposomal, or a multi-phase technology. We pay attention to nature and how that nutrient acts in nature to make sure that we deliver it in a similar fashion. Ultimately, we're very proud to be able to deliver you an isotonic solution, an isotonic program or regimen, and allow these products to be customized where you feel you need to be your very best self, whether that's getting started with a multivitamin, an antioxidant, and an activated B complex, or you want to look at a more age management solution. Isotonics, through our incredibly comprehensive line, has definitely got what you're looking for. Dr. Lange, is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we say goodbye?
Oh, yeah, I just want to, I think it would be beneficial for you and I to just talk for a minute or two about why supplementation is so important these
Right.
days. Things that are running around in my head are things like, the toxic burden that we all have, from pollution, the food quality declining over decade, because let's face it, our agricultural system in the United States is very efficient, too efficient, where we're not replacing the nutrients that our plants need, our food supplies need, in order to grow properly, and therefore transfer that into our bodies. And we're exposed to a lot of free radicals. And you mentioned the importance of everyone having an antioxidant in their daily regimen. And that's to combat free radicals. So I think it'd be really important to just spend a moment saying that because of the changes in our environment, it's essential that everybody supplement. And it's no longer a luxury, but it's critical to, as a cornerstone, to maintain your general health.
I agree with you. There's so many new to nature molecules that are found in the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, and as you mentioned, the food that we're eating. These new to nature molecules are not making it easier for your cells to behave or communicate with each other. We have a fantastic burden that is put on the body each and every day, and that burden is to properly detoxify from what is effectively a very toxic environment. Now, it's important to know that your body is built for detoxification. Your body is built for better cell to cell communication. What your body is not built for is the 2020 type of burden that we have with the food choices, with uh, um, environmental hazards or environmental pollution. Your body wasn't built to be sedentary or not get enough sleep. Your body's built off of cell signals. Your metabolism needs to be hearing those signals, and nutrients are the base of being able to send those signals. So a multivitamin can be as simple as filling in gaps where your diet falls short. An antioxidant, as Dr. Lange mentioned, is no longer prudent. It's absolutely necessary for you to be able to protect yourself from the external world and allow your body's internal mechanisms to stay healthy, turning over the way that they're supposed to, and being able to help you detoxify. In the world that we live in today, we need help, and that help comes in the form of supplementation.
And I think to wrap this all up, the best way to do that is let's go back to that maybe the first or second slide you showed where the stones were piled up in a nice stack. Let's wrap it up with that. Get everyone kind of thinking about, yeah.
It'll get there.
I know. You're almost there. So what you have here is Dr. Mason, you were talking about building a strong foundation and building upon it. You have a nice stack of stones here. But in reality, in today's world, that stack of stones is flipped upside down for most people.
I so agree.
And so on the bottom where the little stones are, you have very little sleep, very little exercise, very little consumption of quality foods. And on top, the larger stones, which are creating imbalance in all of our lives, is things like stress from work, stress from kids being home while you're working, processed foods, environmental contamination, too much screen time. And so what happens is the stack of stones falls over and your health will suffer, if not in the
as a
short term,
result.
at least in the long term.
And I think that's important to mention, is that if not today, there's a guarantee that if we don't pay attention to these things, it's going to happen in the future. And it's so important for us to understand that the steps and the moves and the habits that we build today are the ones that are going to give us that healthy future. So I want you right now to take a personal inventory and ask yourself, am I eating as well as I could? Am I exercising as much as I should? Am I getting enough sleep? And have I found a way to manage and support a healthy stress response? The world comes at us fast. We need to make sure that we are prepared. Dr. Lange, thank you for spending your afternoon with me. For the rest
My
of you,
pleasure.
I hope that you find this helpful. And should you have more questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can reach us, myself, at nutrimetrics@nutrimetrics.com. You can ask more questions by finding us on Facebook at Market America, on the Facebook pages, and finding us on social media. Until the next time we talk, go be healthy, go be brilliant.